bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
Happy Thursday, Glitter Gang. How are you? Welcome back to the Catch a Tag Remastered class, Portrait Edition. We're, I think, starting the last page, right? Let me just make sure I put 3 things in this pouch. Yes, there's 3 things in that pouch. So we are starting the last page. Quarantine Thursday. Lori, to get products or go to look at the membership or any of that, it's all the links are in the video description, or you can go to kathrynscraps.com and click membership or shop. They'll be in tabs at the top. But if you switch from, if you're on mobile, you'll see the chat. If you switch from chat to the description, the links to this tutorial or album basics guide, and all of that will be down there, or should be down there. It should be. You never know. The internet's gonna be broken. Let me just double check. Yeah, it's all there. It's all in the video description of the live chat. So, well, I clicked it, but it's not going anywhere. Is my website broken? Because that would be super annoying. Yeah, I'm just checking with my web host. They do have some outages reported right now. I'm just gonna text Mr. Lifeguard and let him know. There's always something. There's always something. I'm sure he'll be very excited to get this news. And just make sure it's not a browser problem. I'm going to try it in another browser. This is very exciting, I know, for all of you. But yeah, I think it's going to be a problem with my web host. And their server is strained. But I did not do it, so... Yep. It was not something I did. I know the internet is being taxed a lot right now, so I'm not going to get upset about it, but I am going to have Mr. Lifeguard look into it and make sure it's not something like I could totally see it being that they tried to auto bill us, and because I changed the address of the credit card, it didn't go through, and I am down because we technically, it seems like we didn't pay, for example. Like, I could 100% see that being the problem, and like as I'm saying it, I'm like, that's probably the problem. So well, don't be sorry, Lori. If our website isn't working, we need to know our website isn't working. It's not like you broke it. So unless you did break it, in which case, shame on you. What were you thinking? All right, so happy Thursday. It's Thursday, April 16th. I hope you all had wonderful Passovers. I guess Passover still has a few hours left, depending on where you live. And Easters, if you celebrate Passover or Easter. If not, I hope you had a good weekend. So, wait, was that this? Yeah, that was this weekend. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. How time is at a standstill / not flying at all. Greetings to everyone. Fran was the first to post. She had said she was popping in for a couple minutes while she's waiting for her pig to pass by. And then we had Kathryn and Brenda and Candy. Good afternoon to all of you. Stampin' Forever. Kimberly. Lori, welcome. Hopefully Mr. Lifeguard will figure out what happened with the website and we'll be able to have links for you shortly. I mean, the links will be the same. They'll just go somewhere this time. Bev, how are you? Priya, good evening. Wait, afternoon. Good afternoon. Carol, Joan, how are you? Seven is here. Welcome, Seven. And Judy says she's ready for socializing. I'm sure a lot of people are ready for socializing. Jill is here. She says hello, everyone. Hello to Jill and to Cindy and to Deb, who has nicknamed this just Quarantine Thursday. Sandra, hi, how are you doing? Ella, good afternoon. Ellen says it's snowing here again. Oh my gosh. That's no good. That's no good. It's cold here too. Well, chilly. Probably most of you would not think that it was cold. Mr. Lifeguard is in a meeting. He said he'll look into it afterwards. Where was I? Ellen, and she was cold. She's got snow, which is crazy because it's April. It's like in the 60s here, which I know to a lot of you probably sounds like it would be nice, but you know, it's a little chilly in Florida. So Penny, hi, how are you? Donna, greetings. Hello to Gretchen. Hello to Martha from snowy Colorado. So snowing where Martha is too. No. Fran says, I'm sure Mr. Lifeguard will be crazy excited about hearing, or at least I thought that was Fran. Now I can't even see that comment, so whoops. Oh, I'm sure he'll say, oh boy. Yeah, he's totally happy. He's always really happy when stuff doesn't work, technology speaking. I'm gonna try to straighten my camera. It's a little... There we go. I don't know. It's impossible to get it perfectly straight because of the way that cameras create a curve. I don't know if you can see it, but like if you see how where I'm running my finger, you can see maybe how it just bends a little bit right here, how it bends up a little bit right here. This is because cameras, in order to take something 3D and make it 2D, they have to flatten it, and that creates some curves. That's why the camera adds 10 pounds. It actually does. It makes you wider than you are in real life because of this flattening. I'm sure it's not really that noticeable, but I'm always trying to get it perfectly straight because yeah, see, maybe you can see right here. This part of the line's a little bit higher right here. That's the camera kind of distorting the image a little bit to make it look more, try and make it look flat. Now you know about camera technology. I'm sure that was really exciting for all of you. Okay, so we are working on the last page in the portrait version of the mat. Does not need to be 10 pounds heavier, it's true. The last page in the portrait version of the book. So what I need to do is get my guide so I know how to make a page. Because, whoops. All right, and I'm using the Catch a Tag Remastered Album Basics Guide, which will hopefully be for sale again shortly. And I'll be working from page 9. Page 9 today, which is page style A, and I'll be using page style A portrait instructions. And I think I cut all my pieces already. I just need to, well, this is this is my tag template, and this is my tag sheet. No, this is my liner, and these are my flaps, and this is my something. I don't know what this does. Oh, it's the back. It's the page base. Woohoo! And then I need an acetate, and here's my tag. Here's my tag, and here's my acetate. I got the audio book for my library didn't have it, and I was really struggling to get through the book. So when I really struggle to get through a book, I like to listen to the audiobook. So I bought the audiobook because I was just like, ugh, I don't know. Something about the way it's written. I don't think it's a bad book, but I think it's maybe not for me. Which is fine. Not every book has to be for everybody. So I think it's well written. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with how it's written. I'm just not sure. Unraveling Oliver. So we're talking about, or I'm talking about Unraveling Oliver, which is the April book. We're going to talk about it in detail on the last Thursday of April, which is like April 30th. Yeah, April 30th. So 2 weeks from now. So you still have 2 weeks to read it. And what Unraveling Oliver is a genre of book that I found out. It's an Irish book, and it's a genre of book that I learned when I was doing the research for this month is, number one, very popular in Ireland, and number two, called a whodunit, where you know who the perpetrator of the crime is, but you don't know why they did it. And so the focus of the book is not trying to figure out who done it, but why. So all I'm doing is I'm tracing the tabs here. And then while our website is offline, if there's something you really, really want, like you really want access to the archives, or you really want the guide for this, or anything like that, if you email what you want to sales@kathrynscraps.com, we can send PayPal invoices to your email, and at least get you some things like that. Like if you want to make a particular project or something like that while you're home, then we will, if it looks like it's going to be a while before we can get the website back online for some reason, then we can work it out that way. So if you do want something, just email your list to sales@kathrynscraps.com, and either the website will be working in a couple hours and we can send you links, or we can send you a PayPal invoice if it looks like it's going to be down for a while for some reason. And then I'm just going to tab the corners with my large angle punch. And the format of Unraveling Oliver is when you hear several people tell their version of an event. So like Rashomon is the famous example of this. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm not a tremendous fan of the Rashomon style of storytelling, where you're supposed to piece together from all the different perspectives what really happened in a given situation. And so you hear about some things kind of repeatedly or over and over again. And I mean, I don't like hate it, but it's not like I get excited about it, you know. So I'm just kind of lukewarm on that particular style. So Mr. Lifeguard said that our domain expired due to a payment issue with our card not getting properly charged. So it's exactly what I thought it was. Wow. So he's going to fix it. So I went through and I changed all our addresses everywhere I could think of, and I didn't think of our website. I didn't think of our website. So when they tried to bill, they used the wrong billing address. Yeah, some people really like this style of storytelling. Fran's saying that she likes to figure out what happened by all the different people telling them their versions, which is how you learn about stuff in real life. And there are people who love Rashomon. That's one of their favorite movies. So, but it sounds like Mr. Lifeguard's going to get this fixed by the end of class. So hopefully the website will be back up shortly, everyone. Thank you for bringing it to my attention, though. I always appreciate being able to fix stuff easily. Okay, so now I have... Oh my gosh, excuse me. Okay, so now I have my cardstock cut and scored already. I must have scored it on a previous episode. And again, the measurements for this is cut number 2 under page style A portrait on page 9. So I have this, and this is my base page. And what I'm going to do now is I need to cut the hole in the center for the... I just had a hairball. I know, I just had a hairball. I'm sorry. What happens to me sometimes if I don't drink enough water and I talk too much, which is, you know, is I get this feeling like there's a dry patch on a tonsil, like where it feels like that part of my tonsil is just dry. I don't know how else to describe it. Like a tiny part of my tonsil dried out, and then that irritates it, and I've got to like swallow a few times or drink some water. And so, you know, that's why I'm always telling you to hydrate so that you don't get dry tonsils. I don't even know if that's what's actually happening. Like, it's probably just like my throat is irritated from talking and being dry. But I do feel like my tonsils are drying out or something. I don't know, because it feels behind my tongue. Like it's back behind, way back behind my tongue. Gretchen says she knows exactly what I mean, so I'm... And Gretchen, don't you just need to take a few swallows of water and that fixes it, right? So there you go. So make sure you stay hydrated. Okay, so now let me look up, except that it was a hairball. The only time the cats have ever had a hairball was the time I ferminated Kitty, and then she found the pile of fur that I had ferminated off of her, and she ate it. And then she had a hairball. And I was like, you got what you deserved, Kitty. Like, what were you thinking? I mean, she was probably mad that I stole it. But honestly, what was I supposed to do? Okay, I had to get the measurements for the insides. You can use, our moms would call it parched. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Yes, my throat's parched. Yes, my throat's parched. And parched just means really, really dry, so this is a real thing. Thank you to everyone who's not making fun of me. So how to put these page bases together, there's an instructional video on this in the album basics guide, and I recommend just make them all at once. assembly line style so that you don't have to like try to remember how to do it every time you switch pages. So how's everyone doing? I finally got some food and some toilet paper. So I now have plenty of food and I have toilet paper again. So it's so exciting, I know. All right. So once you've made your square within your square, remember that the one that you don't cut is the one, if you're holding it up, so like this is the portrait version, so I'm holding it in the portrait way. If it was landscape, I'd be holding it like this, okay? So the one you don't cut is the one on the right. The one you don't cut is the one on the right, always. Regardless of whether you're doing the portrait version or the landscape version, you're gonna not, wait, that's not, is that correct? I think it's, just kidding. I think that in the landscape one, you still cut this one. It's the same one every time, I think. I don't know. Not whatever. I'll know when we do the landscape version. I'll know what the answer is. Did we go to the... I got it delivered. So, I got it delivered. Instacart, and I don't know if this is in my area, in all areas. I assume it's in all areas. But Instacart has Sam's Club. So I did a Sam's Club order. And the wait was crazy long. So I offered a $20 tip. And I had it within an hour. I had it within an hour and a half. So as like this, you know how sometimes if you do Instacart, if you're familiar with Instacart, you know how you have up until the person starts shopping to make changes to your order. You've got some like leeway. Well, within 2 minutes of my order going through, someone had picked it up. So, so I had no time to make any changes. Like what I sent was what I got. And I mean, this person must have been in the Sam's Club parking lot waiting for something good, because like I said, I had it. They immediately were shopping. They got everything except one thing. And it was at my house in 90 minutes. So, like, every single estimate that Instacart gave me was way wrong. Because this was super fast. Now, I don't know if that's because Instacart was just wrong because they're overwhelmed. They just have no idea how long anything's going to take. Or if it's because I offered a $20 tip, which is what I think it is. Because I have a friend who does Instacart, and she explained the pay structure to me once. And she basically said anyone who offers like a $10 or $15 tip is going to go the head of the line, because you get to pick which ones, you know, you grab. And she said, like, they get paid, I think it was like 60 cents an item, but it's only for the first one. So, for example, if you had 200 of the same cat food in your order, they'd get 60 cents for it, because that's Instacart considers that the same item. So if they have to sit there and pick up 200 cans of cat food or whatever, they still only get 60 cents for that. But I also think it's just possible that Instacart's not as overwhelmed right now because people who got laid off are maybe using it to supplement their income. All right, so now I'm going to put that last one that I didn't cut, I'm going to put it in the last row of, yes, she said people do that and it sucks when they do that. So, I do the score in the last one. You can change your tip after they deliver, like in case something went wrong. Like, I think it's in case something went wrong and they didn't do a good job. You can take some money away. But some people, what they're doing is they're offering a big tip to get people to take their order and get their order to the head of the line, and then they're taking that tip away after it's delivered, even though the Instacart person didn't do anything wrong, which I think sucks. Yeah, that sucks, right? Like Instacart, they're not making any money really aside from that tip. So, it's really sucky to do that. All right, so I'm gonna erase the edges. Remember, the reason we do this is because it's a door, so you can see the pencil when the door opens, because we decorate the back. So that's why I'm not doing it all the way to the edge. I'm just doing it around the door. This is an electric eraser that Donna Jet got me. So it's from Couture Creations, and it spins when you press this button. So you don't apply pressure. You just run it side to side, and it just takes away the pencil. So that's what this is. Candy says, the longer this lasts, it seems the more times a day I want to what the WTF is wrong with people emoji. I know. I was really bummed when I read about how Instacart works. So, it's really totally changed my behavior on Instacart in terms of like thinking about how much to tip and things like that. Because the Instacart fees go to Instacart mostly. They don't go to the person. So they're really only getting that 50 or 60 cents per item or whatever it is. And again, that's for the first of the items. So if you have 200 items in your cart and 150 of them are cat food, and 50 of them are toilet paper rolls, and so you really only have 2 items in your cart. That's how it works. So, but anyways, so we're doing fine. All right, so now that I've got the window cut, I'm going to use my template for the hole punch to punch my hole in the window here. So that's this, and again, how to make the template is in the Well, I think, getting a mask order. I think we were supposed to get it today. I have to check and see if it went through or not. They were going to vote on it yesterday. They being the county officials. So what the county officials decided is that each county, that nothing will happen in the county unless they unanimously agree on it. And they're meeting once a week to renew emergency orders and think of any new orders, renewing curfews, things like that. They're redoing it every single week because there are some mayors who didn't want to like shut anything down with no end in sight. So everything that we are required to do in this county expires on Thursdays, and they have to renew it on Thursdays. They have to all meet and renew it. So I'm sure they'll renew the quarantine and all that, but they said they're thinking about a mandatory mask order. So we'll see if that goes through. All right, so once we've punched our hole, then we're going to put tape all the way around the edges of our opening. Oh, wait, no. I'm not going to do that. I mean, ultimately I am. But I need to put my end extenders on before I put my acetate on, because I want the acetate to cover the end extender. So I have these two things because we couldn't get our paper long enough. Well, that's a good way of figuring it, Priya. What I'm trying to do is make it so that they'll get paid about $15 an hour, depending on how much, like it's, for how much time they spend on my order. So yesterday they came in at like 80 minutes and I offered 20. So I was a little high yesterday, but I wasn't totally high. But it's not an exact science, but I try to get it now to be where it would be about $15 an hour. All right, Fran, have fun chasing it. All right, and then I put that down. I just make sure it's in between those score lines. And then the links are working. Great. Thank you, Lori. Thank you for letting me know. I've pretty much found everything I packed. I have let's see, in the craft room, I have 4 boxes left and they're all my pegboard. And it's all just, I haven't decided what I want to do with my pegboard because I don't have room to put them 1, 2, 3 in a row anywhere. So I have to contemplate if I want to put them like vertical, and then horizontal to go over some shelves, or if I want to try and find a place where I can put them, all of them, or if I want to find a bookshelf and maybe do bins for the pegboard stuff for now and let Mr. Lifeguard have the pegboard for the garage until we go to a place where the pegboard works better. And my issue that I didn't consider when we moved in here is that because this is a loft, I only have 2 walls. Um, so I went from having 4 walls to 2 walls. And so I don't have enough like wall space really, you know, for all my bookshelves and my pegboard. However, I have a half wall where I could put another bookshelf. It would go under that half wall if I got one of those 4x2 IKEA calyxes, previously known as expedites. So I'm thinking I may have to go in that direction, but I could always do something like use 2 pegboards and get a bookshelf. I just haven't decided. And it, you know, part of the problem is I kind of want to just like go to IKEA and look at the different bins and drawers and see what my options are, but of course I can't do that. So I may just leave the pegboard stuff in its boxes until I can go and take a look, or I'm just gonna have to go on the website and hope for the best. But the pegboard stuff is all like, it's like a lot of dies, and it's my punches that I don't use that often, because the punches that I use all the time are in my drawer of my desk. So there's not anything that I go to all the time on the pegboard. IKEA's curbside only, so I'd have to try and like get everything ordered and picked out through the website. And sometimes you just want to, like, especially for things like bins and baskets and drawers and that sort of thing, I do want to look, you know, but I may just have to deal and order it, or I'll just wait, because it's not like it's the end. It's not the end of the world. So, I mean, it may be the end of the world, but it's not, if it's not me getting not getting my stuff is not the worst thing that can happen. But everything else fit pretty much like we wanted. Master closet still has a couple boxes that need to be put away. And again, it's a similar situation there. Some storage, because we don't have, in this house, we don't have a good linen closet. So we put a bookshelf in there. In our master closet, we need to get some bins for it to store some stuff, things like that. So we're really just waiting on shelving for some things. I mean, the house had a linen closet, but it was by the bathroom, the pool bathroom. So it was on the opposite side of the house from the bedroom, and it was right by the kitchen. So I turned it into a baking closet, and that's where I put all my baking supplies, because as you all know, my kitchen is like half the size or a third of the size in this place as it was in my previous place, so I have to get creative with my kitchen storage. Alright, so I peeled the tape from around the opening, and now I'm going to peel the tape from the edges of my acetate sheet, and then I'm going to stick the acetate sheet sticky side down, and it'll stick the acetate to the cardstock. Oh no. Okay, so I am getting color samples of this. What is this material? Acrylic. I'm getting acrylic color samples sent to me now, so that I'm hoping we can get a pink one, but we'll see. All right, so it's okay that this is all the way to, like, it's right on the line of the score line here, and it's like, you know, almost a 1/4 inch away from the score line on this side. That doesn't matter as long as you can fold this piece over the acetate. The acetate's not in the way of the score line, which in this case it's not. So I'm okay living with this, even though it's not totally perfect. There is a bend, I think, in the cardstock now, but whatever. All right, so now that I have this, what goes down next is our liner piece. Okay, now your liner piece can be additional cardstock, but it's what's going to show when you open the door and you pull out your tag. No, this doesn't go down next. The tag goes down next. Okay, so the tag has to go down. So we have to make the opening for our tag. So yeah, I'm getting, right now, color samples of the acrylic are on their way to me. So I'm happy about that. And then I'll pick a color, and then we should be good to go. And for price, it's probably going to be within the same general realm as the Perfect Trim Tool, so something like $9.95. I think somewhere around there. So it's not going to be like a lot more than the Perfect Trim Tool. All right, so now I'm gonna cut my opening for my tag, and you cut that on the same side as the hole, or the opposite side from the score. So should be no problem to get it done, but manufacturing takes a while to set up, so I'm always overly optimistic about when I can have things with manufacturing, but I do think that I should be able to have it soon. Once I get the samples, I can show them to you. Maybe we'll vote, and it can be viewer's choice. This is my favorite page too. All right, so now normally I miter the corners. Well, let me just check that this is gonna fit. Yeah, that fits just fine. Okay. Normally I miter the quarters, okay? Like, and that's where I would cut them diagonally like this, so that when they fold it over, they didn't hit. However, that makes this piece really super tiny, and it's not structurally that great. So what I'm going to do is instead I fold this one, and then I fold the tab over it, and then I'm going to draw with a pencil to mark it, and then I'm going to cut this corner out. And we'll do that on both sides. All right, so when these are folded over, you see how they are not overlapping each other? See how that's what you want. You don't want them to overlap each other. Oh my gosh, National Scrapbook Day is coming up. that's all right. So now I have my tabs done. All right, cool, cool, cool. So then we can put this in, and then we put this in, and that's when we'll fold everything over. So now I just need to miter these corners. And the reason I recommend doing all of these page style A's at once is because it's pretty quick to come together as far as pages go when you're doing it all at once. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do tape on the inside of all of these. And then on the outside, we're going to do both edges, inside and outside. Sorry, I have to respond to something about the website for Mr. Lifeguard really quick. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so now on the outside we go all the way around the edge, and then we're going to fold it over and go all the way around the joints. So Ella is talking in the chat about how she and her crafty BFF have been FaceTiming like virtual crops. I think that's a really good idea. That's a really fun thing to do. I have had virtual crops in the past. Both public ones on Ustream and, you know, just private ones with close friends. And they're really fun. All right, so after I've gone around the edge, I'm going to fold them over and I'm going to go along the edge again. So the reason I fold them over is because I don't want the tape to show around, you know, on the side here. And by folding it over, I know it's only on the back. That's it. That's it. All right, so now that I've got those all done, we're going to take our piece, and I'm going to make sure it fits, which it does not. I need to trim this down a little bit. So I'm just going to cut like 1/8 of an inch off all the edges and hope for the best. Probably the smart thing to do would have been to measure it. That's what someone who was like a crafting pro would probably do. All right. So now it's gonna fit. All right, great. So now I can tape all the way around the edges. And we'll go from there. Then it'll be assembly time. And then after it's finally assembled, then we'll decorate it, make it look pretty. So I'm putting this tape around the edges of the back of the piece. Okay. So now I need to get my stamps on here before I stick it down. And I just want to show you, if you want your stamps to be like exactly rightly positioned, where to do the stamping, and you can make a window. So what you're going to do is lightly with a pencil draw like to sort of make a frame. Okay. And you'll do the same, sort of the same measurements as you did for the base piece, the piece that it came off of. All right. So for the edges, make the window the same as the window in the cardstock, the blue cardstock. All right. So this just gives you the, now you know where it's going to be in the window of the page. And then you can just take your ink and your stamp. All right. And you come in more on this side because the tab sticks out. So you need to come in 1 inch more on this side than you do on the others. But then you can stamp. And that way, when you stick it in, these will be nicely framed in the window. And then just go and erase your lines. Just in case they peek, you don't want them to show, because you're going to pull this tag out, so you know, even if they might be covered by the window edges, when it's all the way in, you pull the tag out so they'll show. That's why you want to do it lightly, because you've got to take them off again. What's great about the eraser is you don't have to put any pressure, and it doesn't like tear up your paper. It just takes it right off. Donna Jet gave it to me, so I don't know where she got it, but the company is Couture Creations, the company that makes the eraser. All right. So now we can put these down back here. All right. So this is our piece. So when we open, see, we've got our photos nicely framed in there. All right. Donna says that Amazon does have the electric erasers. Make sure our map is right side up, and then put it into place and peel. Oh gosh. Every time I'm like, we're going to assemble it, I think of one more thing. This is why you want to do it all at once, so you don't have this problem. I've got to just miter these corners on the sides. That's all. Make sure they're not overlapping. All right. Now for real, we're gonna do it. All right, so we put in the piece. We take the map, we make sure it's right side up, we put it face down. We peel the tape. And we fold over and give it a burnish. Now, once the first one's in, the rest of it goes a lot more smoothly. Okay. All right. So the page is now functional. You can open the door and you can pull this through to reveal your map. Okay. So the last thing we have to do is on the back, we have to stick down our base piece. This one, the one that doesn't get scored. And so I'm going to peel all the tape from the back. And we'll stick it down, and then it'll be time to decorate. All right. All right, now when I put this down, I'm going to stick it down so that I can see. I line it up with this edge, the edge where the tag is, because if any part of it is too big and has to get trimmed down, I need that to be on this edge, the edge that doesn't have the tag, because trying to trim behind the tag is going to be very hard. So I'm going to flip it over and I see that there is a little bit here. So I'm just going to trim this off with my craft knife. Ugh, okay. So I need to get my glass mat out because the self-healing mat is bending these pieces a little bit. What is the problem exactly? I think my blade is dull. That's what my problem is. Because I'm having to cut several times just to get through one piece of cardstock. Alright, so now that I've got that edge cleaned up, let me quickly replace my knife blade so that I don't try to cut something else later and have problems. So the blades that I use in my craft knives are the X-Acto X-Life blades. And when I'm done with them, I fold them up in a piece of cardstock. That way, whoever empties the trash doesn't have to worry about getting stabbed. And what's different about these blades from the normal X-Acto blade is the normal X-Acto blade. Okay, great. These must have gotten all messed up in the move. They just flew everywhere. Gotten shook in a box. The normal X-Acto blade is a stainless steel blade and it's silver. You can see how this blade is blue? This is a high carbon steel blade and it has a more precise edge. Do I use a special tape in my ATG? Yeah, I use the 3M gold in my ATG. This is annoying. And I get it from framingsupplies.com and I buy 12 rolls at a time. And that lasts me a really long time because they give a quantity discount on 12 rolls, a little bit of a discount. $9.08, I think is what it is. I know. It's everyone's scared. I'm scared. Ugh. Every time you think you're done moving, something like this happens and you're like, I'm never going to be done moving. I wish I had something that this could be skipped, but I can't just leave these all on my desk, and I can't just, well, I could just throw them back in, but then this problem would never end. So I'm gonna put them all back in properly and be safe. Yeah, Donna just came and said she was listening to her governor's daily address. I don't listen to the governor's daily thing because he decided a while ago that because the concentration of cases in the state, it's not, the distribution is there. We have some hot spots where it's really bad, and then some areas that haven't been affected at all, really, hardly at all. So he's not doing a lot of statewide decrees, and he's just leaving it to the municipal leadership to decide what they need to do. So it's the weekly Hillsborough County meetings are the ones that are going to be. It is 9:08. Thank you, Penny. All right, so all the blades are safely back in their box and won't stab me next time I need to use them. So, yay! All right. Okay. So now that's been done. We are all good. Let me just make sure. Oh, so Mr. Lifeguard is telling me that we didn't get an email about it because we had an old email in there. So that's why we didn't know. Well then. Okay. Good. The crisis of the website appears to be totally solved, so that if anything ever happens with it again, we'll get emailed. All right. So that's done. Now what? Now we are going to decorate this. That's what's next. It's pretty paper time. Okay. I still need this. So now we just need to think about what we're going to cover this with. Yay. All right, so I'm going to get the cruise paper back out. And I'm going to start with, I think, I'm going to start with elements and see if maybe there's something that we're like, okay, this is the last page in the book. We definitely want whatever. Like, we haven't used the big lighthouse yet. So maybe there's a way to use the big lighthouse. If I were to use this, I would get rid of the wheel and it would just be the lighthouse framed with the Sail Away With Me. We've also got some sailboats. Let's see, maybe I'll create a scene. Is there a way to do that? Or like this, like we're looking at the lighthouse? I think I like this. And yeah, we'll just have to cut. The only issue is that this gets really close to the piece. Let me cut it off and see how I feel about it with, because maybe what we can do is place it like on a stripe so that it's not so obvious somehow. Nope, I think I'm gonna have to go down to the red and get rid of the white altogether. And that looks totally fine with the red showing. I could maybe stick a little piece of cardstock there to frame it in the white again if we thought some space would be good. Ugh, let me just do that. Let me just take a scrap of white cardstock. I'm just gonna cut the edge off my journaling paper right here. All right. And I'm gonna peel the tape back a little bit here. And I'm gonna come across. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is, let me get my glass mat, and we're gonna and then I need to give it that little black edge from the Sharpie, because the other edges have a little black line around them. So now it looks the same as all the other ones. Here, let me hold it up. So look, it looks just like it was always like that, and then there was never a wheel. So that's nice. Okay. So now we have this, which I think looks really nice. And thinking. Okay, so something like this could look, I'm just gonna stick it. I mean, this is also cute, but it's not as cute. I think the lighthouse is better. Okay. All right, so we've got that. And now we're just going to find a piece of paper that will, you know, frame this nicely in the back. And then we'll go from there. Okay. All right. So let's look at the paper now. So now that I've hidden the paper for myself, cool. Let me get my other. So let's see, what have we done so far? We did this one and this one. So I don't want to reuse the anchors. What I want to maybe do is combine this paper with this paper. So it looks like, you know, this is on the dock. Something like that. However, I need to make sure that this paper is actually going to fit on this window because I think it's too small. Yeah, it is too small. Oh no, it's exactly the right size. Okay. So it would look something like this. Now, this, what if we then took the scrap with the fireworks and put that up here at the top behind the waves a little bit so that it looked like it was at night. The only way to know if that would look good would be to cut. I'm gonna cut right here and I'll be able to put them back together if I don't like it. So I'm gonna cut very carefully in case I need to franken the paper. So we'd be looking at something like this. I think think we need to lose more. So it's behind the light. Yeah, I don't think the blue is adding anything as it is, but we'll continue on. I think the problem is that this is black and we're dealing with navy. Yeah, we did use the blue on the second page. That's another problem. This is on page 2, this blue. We may have to just get rid of the blue. Let's go in a different direction. What if we... Okay, you come back here. I'm gonna find you a cute background. See if we just go a totally different direction. With just the fireworks, it looks like this. I don't think it works with just the fireworks either, because a couple reasons. One, this is navy, this is black. That's a tricky combination. Now, we could pull it off by putting a border on it, but I just think that I'm trying too hard to make the fireworks happen, I think. All right, let's see the flags. Flags are too busy, so that's good to know. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to frame these yellow with this red polka dot. I'm going to put a frame within the frame. And then around the outside, we'll put something, and that's where the flags could maybe work. Like going across the top, maybe. So let's start working this out. Okay. So the first thing I need to do is I need to cut this to be the right size. It's the right width, or it's close enough. So I don't know the length though. Yeah, okay. All right, let me cut this down. I'll be right back. Okay, so cutting this down. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a border with these polka dots. There's two ways I can do this. There's the easy way and there's the fancy way. I'm going to do it the easy way. So, which is to cut it to the same size as this piece and cut out the middle. The fancy way would be to cut strips and miter the corners. Okay, so I'm just going to do a 1/2 inch border. So I'm going to cut just a 1/2 inch in from each edge. And then a 1/2 inch up to 1/2 inch. Okay. So I'm just going to finish cutting this corner. We'll ink it, of course. But I'm thinking that we will do something like this. All right, so that's pretty cute, actually. So, we'll then just go, we're just going to put it all together now. The frame makes a very big difference, yes. Yeah, the frame is definitely going to help. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to ink the frame inside and out and attach the two pieces to each other. Because what the frame does is it gives us some red, and it which draws attention to the little title. All right, so I'm going to stick this down, and I think, no, I'm not gonna, no. I was like, I'm gonna do it with liquid glue so I can reposition, and then I was like, no, you're not. That would be crazy. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 3/8 inch tape and stick it to the base page. And that way I can carefully lay this one on top of it without having to work, like it won't be sticking to me. All right. Nice, nice, nice. Last night I was looking on digital scrapbooking websites for any paper collections that were homeschooling that would match with the paper from Echo Park that I chose for the next book, to see if we could do homeschooling inserts. However, I didn't really find anything I liked. So we're just going to do regular school. But all right, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. All right, now I'm just gonna ink the outside. Kathy, can you whip out some homeschool paper? All right. Oh, before I stick this down, I've got to do the edge. So, let me find my edge template. Oh my gosh, my room is such a mess. It's a good thing you cannot see my room. All right, so I'm just going to take this piece and use the same template I used for the hole for the door. I'm just going to set this on it and then hold them together as I flip it over and then notch it out. And then I just use a 1/4 inch larger hole punch than this one. So this was 1 inch, so I'm going to use 1 1/4. And then what I do is I frame the 1 inch hole punch that I just traced inside my 1 1/4 inch one, so I have 1/8 of an inch kind of all the way around. And then I punch it. And then I'll just go and ink this edge. All right. So now this can get stuck down to this. And it's pretty darn cute. It's pretty darn cute. My hole punches are BASE-ICS. That's the brand. All these flat ones like this, these are all BASE-ICS, the ones that look like this. And I have all of the hole punches they made from like 1/2 inch all the way up to 3 inches. And at every 1/4 inch, it took me forever to collect them, but I would collect them with 50% off coupons. So yeah, Candy, they're in the chat. They're talking about some of the scrapbooking kits that have come out, like related to COVID, you know, and crafting, and you know what life was like during the Crisis, which this live show is airing during the crisis. If you're watching this years in the future and you're like, what are they talking about with Instacart? So, all right, now I'm going to stick this down. And Candy was saying if I were to do one, it would just be like a list of all the new YouTubers I'm watching. And yeah, I haven't really done anything like exciting. I mean, that's something to document, is how boring the crisis was. Maybe it's like, well, we all caught up on Netflix. And reconnected with family and friends via Zoom. Someone posted today on Facebook that Zoom has there's a way that you can get a llama or a goat on your Zoom calls, and I was just like, that's what we needed. That was it. That was the one thing we were missing, was a way to have a goat be on my Zoom calls. Turtle Moon has been playing Animal Crossing. I've been playing a lot of Stardew Valley. I want to play Animal Crossing. I just have to get around to buying it and downloading it, because I've been waiting for Animal Crossing to come out forever. But then it came out while we were moving, so I didn't like jump on it. All right. So I'm going to burnish that again. But yeah, I've been reading, I've been unpacking. I'm so tired of unpacking. Yesterday I was working on getting the pantry organized because we had the Sam's Club order come in, and our pantry is also smaller. So even though I'm unpacked, there's some things that it's like, oh, now I have to completely reorganize the pantry because I don't have room for all this stuff that I just bought, and I have to, you know. Oh, Tabletop Simulator, that is one really cool thing, that you can play board games with your family. For sure. We played House on Haunted, or Betrayal at House on Haunted Hill the other day. And oh my gosh, it was horrible. Because Betrayal at House on Haunted Hill is a game where you're all on one team for like 3/4 of the game, and then one of you becomes a traitor. And like all of our items, everything we'd collected to fight the traitor at the end, the traitor was holding them all. Because it's random who becomes a traitor. So there's no way to plan for it. So we were so in trouble. We were in big trouble. All right, so I'm pretty happy with this. So now I think we just need to figure out what we're going to frame the frame with. And then I think we'll do like before, where whatever is here, the pattern will carry across to here. So let's see. What could we do? We could do... Okay, that's a bit busy. And then this is going to be too much red. Yep. Now we could maybe do flags on the sides. That's a possibility. If we did flags on the sides, we'd want something more grounding at the top and bottom. So we'd want something... Maybe the wood? Maybe the wood? So flags on the sides, wood on the top and bottom? Like a dock? Yeah, let's try that. Okay. We can look at the black stripe. My concern is the black stripe will be a little busy, or the navy stripe, but we can look at it. But I think because this has a stripe that it's gonna seem like a lot. Yeah, it's a lot, I think, with the polka dots and the flags. So I think we'll go with the wood. I mean, almost. I'm not fully recovered. No, I'm not. I definitely feel bad when I bend over at the waist. That's something I'm trying to avoid as much as possible. Unfortunately, I do a lot of that on Thursdays. So, this is not one of those days where I'm going to feel totally fine at the end, but, whatever. All right, so what we have to do with this is we have to move these flags, or we have to cut it, and I'm gonna cut it. How do I want to cut it? We have to make it longer. We have to Franken paper this. So I'm gonna cut it at 6 inches because that's what I need to go on the back. So no, I don't want 6 inches. I'm going to cut it at 8 inches because I need a total of 8 inches. And then I'm going to have to see if I can Franken paper this. So this will be one of our more challenging Franken papers. That we've done. Okay. Hopefully I can do it. I don't know if we have enough. I don't have to go too much farther down though, so. So I'm going to start on this edge, okay, and we're going to connect there first. Okay, so problem number 1 is that the flags are on different curves, which is fine. I'm going to try and get them as close as possible, and then I'm going to tape. I think all right. So step 1 is I need to get this trimmed down to the right length. So I'm gonna make this the size that I need. Okay. So this is not so bad. So this is as long as it needs to be. So now I'm gonna cut this little guy. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna try and match up flags whenever I can. right, so there's number 2. Just want to hold these together enough to flip it over. And then we'll tape. Okay. And then I'll peel this. All right. So, all right. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim that edge, and I'm just gonna keep cutting this to the length that I need. Okay. So I'm gonna cut this guy right here, and then just gonna, I don't think this is long enough though, so I'm gonna cut this one. Yep. That one will be long enough. Now, I could just print another sheet of this instead of doing the Franken paper. You know, that would be the normal thing to do. All right, now I'm going to cut this down again, and I think it'll be the right size at that point. All right. So this is now the final size. So I'm just going to do a couple things. Anywhere I have a joint, just going to cut along the edge so I can remove the piece from the back. So I'm just going to that's just gonna make the paper lay flatter. Okay. Now, carefully, I'm gonna remove a little bit at a time and replace with tape. And when I remove them, I'm going to try not to remove the whole thing at once so that they're still held together. And that way I'll have my new sheet of paper. All right. Now I'm just gonna peel this tape, this last little piece of tape. Oh no, it's peeling off my flag. That's okay. I'll glue it back down. So it peeled off the layer that's printed. That happens sometimes. Whenever that happens, all right, this goes for like when it cracks on your spine or whatever. Just put a little bit of liquid glue and then press it back down into place. And then it'll be like it never happened. Just gonna, all right, fix that a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now we have our new sheet of paper. All right. It's the right width. So all we have to do is cut 2 1-inch strips off it for our 2 side pieces. And then the part that is left will go on the back. So I'm going to cut 1 inch from this side and 1 inch from this side so that it'll stay connected on the right side and the back. So So 1 inch and 1 inch. Okay, so there's our pieces. And now what I'm going to do is we're going to ink them and we're going to stick them down. And then we need to find a way to decorate the back. We're just finishing up decorating page style A number 3, which is the final one from the Catch a Tag Remastered portrait version. So tonight we'll be working on page style B number 3 of the Catch a Tag Remastered portrait version. This is a pretty complicated Franken paper because of the curves. The flags were on curved lines, but we got through it. Oh, I do need to punch my notch. Yes, thank you. My notch for the back. It goes on the left side this time. Okay, that's okay. I know what's happening here. What happened is the paper tore, so I have to glue it back down. All right. I'm going to add another piece of tape just to be on the safe side. And then trim. Check your settings if the screen looks out of focus and make sure that YouTube hasn't downgraded your internet. It's that little gear somewhere right around here. So if the screen ever goes out of focus, that's a good thing to check first. If it says autoplay, then YouTube very well could be pushing you down. Click on the gear and you can change it to what you want. All right. So let's get our piece. And we're going to stick it down on top so that the hole's on the left, because the hole needs to be on the left this time. Yeah, don't let anyone push you down, especially not YouTube. And then pick them up. Try 720 at least, Donna. But HD if you can get it. Oh, yay, it's helping a lot of people. Yeah, if I'm ever out of focus, check that gear first, because they could be, it's supposed to figure out what's best for your bandwidth to watch without any interruptions, but it's not always perfect. So, because I do broadcast in HD, so. You should. Okay, so there we go. So that's done. So that's how that's going to go now. All right. So this is going to go here. And this is going to go here. Okay? So that they are carrying across. So so that the cut is in between those two, so it's a continuous pattern. They are also downgrading people because of increased demand right now, yes. Particularly if you're outside the United States. I know that they're being much more forceful. Because of more pressure on the systems. Like I think that their governments in Europe, for example, asked that nothing be streamed in high definition, you know, stuff like that. So that everyone would be able to watch. They don't want anything to go down, you know, they don't want anyone to be without internet. Okay, so I'm going to go around the edge. Okie dokie. And then I'm going to put a piece of tape over the crack just to help out with not having to worry about it. And that one goes there. All right, everybody's taped. ready to stick down. All right. Okie dokie. So I'm gonna stick this down to the door. And my Franken paper, you can't even tell. Ta-da! Look at that. You cannot even tell that this is 3 pieces of paper. Oh, he did have a good birthday. Thank you to everyone who wished him a happy birthday. He did. He had as good a birthday as he could have. But I let him pick what we watched, and we played his favorite game, and I made a nice dinner that was steak and caramelized onions with a nice pan gravy. Oh no, please don't stick. Okay, thank you. All right, so now those are down. So now we just need top and bottom, and we're gonna just do this. I did not bake him a cake because we had some cheesecake left from something else, and he said that was fine. So that's what we went with. So I'm just gonna cut 2 1-inch strips off of this. And then we'll cut them down to size. Okay. I know, cheesecake is nice. Yeah, we ordered from Ruby Tuesdays one night, and we noticed that our Ruby Tuesdays was selling their pantry items. And I mean, like, you could get a 5-pound bag of their queso if you wanted, which we did not. But they were selling whole cheesecakes, and the price was really not bad at all. So we got a whole cheesecake from Ruby Tuesdays. Oh yeah, the wood looks nice. Nice and grounding. So that's a good choice. All right, so we'll just ink those and stick them down. And then when we come back tonight, we'll make the pocket that attaches this to page style B. Well, we'll make page style B, and then we'll make the pocket that sticks them to each other. So that's what we'll be doing tonight. And then if there's any time after that, we'll make the inserts. If not, we'll do the inserts next week. Oh, we're not done. We have to decorate the inside. I forgot. Yeah, page style A comes together really quickly. I find it looks complicated, but it's not complicated to execute. It's one of those where it's really impresses all your friends, but it's not too hard for you to do. All right. We've got that. So that's done. So now all we have to do is make a little scene on the inside. So let's see. Let's go find something. This is nice because that polka dot ties in with the front. Yeah, of these big squares, the one I like the best is Let Your Dream Set Sail. Let's see. Let's see what else we've got. We also, though, have this one. To tie in with the front as well. So I'll let you, we could also do something like this. I'll give you a choice of 3, okay? I'll let you choose. So, number 1 is this little light of mine. So this is number 1. This is 1. Then this is 2. The 5 favorite things. So this is 2. And then this is 3. Let Your Dream Set Sail. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3. All right. Oof. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's a tie between 1 and 3 if I count Melanie as a 1. If I count Melanie as a 3, 3 wins. It's funny because Lisa Annie's the only one who said 2, and 2 is my favorite. I might go rogue and do 2 so that no one gets what they want. I might just go rogue, everyone. I might do it. The dictator Kathryn from the Democracy Dies in Darkness album is back. Like, that would be a surprise. Donna said she was gonna pick 2, but then she picked 3, so. If I don't pick 2, I'm gonna pick 3. Okay, so I'm gonna let you vote again. Well, you would probably all just pick. Okay, you can vote between top 5 faves, which is 5 now. This is 5. And this is 6. All right, so this one is slightly edging out this one, which is interesting because this one got way more votes than this one the first time around. But I think what I'm feeling is that you want something long, that you want something longer, that you like the look of something longer. So I'm going to give this top 5 faves a blue outline, and that's what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to give it a thin blue matte. La 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 la. So much stuff on my floor, I can't even find a scrap of paper. I found one. So I just get my way again. Yeah, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. It's back to tyranny. It's back to tyranny. Gretchen, the reason for that, Gretchen asked, why is it so easy to vote on Kathryn's choices, but it's not so easy to make decisions on our own albums? I will tell you why. Because I am only asking you to choose between 2 things. When you have to make a decision at home, you're choosing amongst everything in your collection, and that's a much tougher choice. So I'm saying, I'm giving you binary choices, but when you're looking in your collection, you're looking at all of your choices. Tyranny was inevitable. How did this camera get messed up again? Like, what was I doing? Oh, I messed up my mat. That's why if you have trouble making decisions, what I recommend is to make project kits so that you're not choosing amongst everything in your collection. You're just choosing from like one little bag of stuff. And that'll make it a lot easier. That makes it a lot easier. No, the cats are the ones who mess up my camera all the time because they're always running back behind it because that's what they just... Yes, exactly. Yes, if you want it to be as easy as class, pick 2 things quickly. The first 2 things you're like, I could live with this. Put them on your desk and choose between them. I'll also tell you something that can help. Is when you're trying to find something, don't tell yourself, I need to find the best thing in my collection for this book. You need to say, I need to find something for my collection that will look good in this book. When people are told to find the best thing, they take longer to make a decision and they're less satisfied with the result than when people are told to find a good thing. People who are told to find a good thing take less time to make a decision and they're happier with the result. So just say, all right, I need an embellishment here. I'm going to go in my collection and I'm going to find 2 good things. And the first 2 good things that I find, I'm going to bring back to my desk and I'm going to choose between them. And just choose between them. And then if you really can't decide, you can flip a coin. What I recommend with coin flipping is not that you go with what the coin says, but that you flip the coin and then analyze how you feel about it. So like if you if you flip the coin and it's heads and you feel disappointed, then you should definitely glue down whatever was tails. You know what I mean? So you don't let the coin tell you what to do. Let the coin reveal how you feel. Well, you can ask hubby, but then it's the same as the coin. Like if he tells you and you're like, that's a terrible choice, then you know it's the other one. So yeah, because he doesn't even care. Exactly. They both look fine. Don't worry about it. Linda says that's very deep. Do you mean the coin toss thing, Linda? Once I started treating coin tosses like that, it made decision making a lot easier. Usually when I tell it to people, they're like, that's the way to do coin tosses. So there you go. You learned so much today about human psychology just in the last 5 minutes. This show is so informative. She treats coin tosses like she does our votes. That's true. That's true, Donna. That's true. I'm like, oh no, they made the wrong choice. They made the wrong choice. They are so wrong. I'm doing the opposite of what they want. All right. Now we know how you rate. Right there with hubbies? No, I'm just kidding. I do what you do like at least 40% of the time, I feel like. Ish, you know. Okay, so this is the final page style A for the portrait version of the book. So this is the Sail Away With Me page. I love it. It turned out fantastic. We did Franken paper. We did top 5 faves. You're just trying. Oh, thank you, Gretchen. Gretchen says you're all just trying to help me find my true feelings. That's the whole point of this show. You thought it was to learn about crafting, but actually it's so that I can know how I feel about things. Oh, finally, it's revealed. What was I going to say? This is the final page style 3 of the portrait version of the book. So when I come back tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern USA time, which is in about 4.5 hours from now, we will do page style B. We'll do the final page style B in this album. And then if there's time after that still left in the show, we'll do the pocket that connects them. So that's what we're going to be working on tonight. But I'm pretty pleased with how this turned out. Thank you so much for joining me. Everyone have a wonderful afternoon or evening if you're in a place where it's evening now. And I will see you in 4.5 hours at 9 p.m. Eastern USA time for the second show of the day. Or if you're headed to bed or headed to dinner, headed out for the evening, I will see you next week, same time, 2 p.m. on Thursday. So thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful afternoon, and I will see you next time. Bye now.